And we're live from sunny South Central Los Angeles, California. My name's Mark, and I am a codependent. I'm a recovering codependent narcissist. I felt like a victim of my entire life until super recently, like just the last couple of months. Victim mentality is a characteristic of being codependent. In my subconscious programming, that part of yourself that you're completely unaware about. Somehow I thought I deserved to get the short end of the stick and to feel like a victim in my life. What does a victim mentality really mean? Like I was a victim of my life. I never really felt like I was in control. I felt like fate and the universe were out to get me, or just, I was a rudderless sailboat, just being blown around and not really having any direction or way to have direction in my life. I always was looking externally for something to fix me, for someone to fix me. I wanted someone or something to make me happy. By refusing to take responsibility for myself, I could just blame others. I could blame the whole world for my problems. Does this sound familiar to anyone? I had to hit an emotional rock bottom before I wanted to change. My former, I don't know what you want to call it, lover or codependent best friend, or really altogether dysfunctional relationship. She wanted to renegotiate our contract about our relationship. That's how I knew what I thought was love, what I thought we were experiencing was love. That's how I knew it wasn't. When you're in a fear-based or a need-based relationship, you renegotiate your contract when your needs change. That's like a huge red flag. If you have to renegotiate your relationship with somebody because you've changed, it's not love, homie. It's not love. It's need. It's fear-based. When it is love, it's different. I know that. I don't know how it's different, because it's something I rarely experience, or maybe never have experienced a real love, heart-centered relationship. But I know it's not renegotiated. That's the contrast. She wanted a continual supply of that narcissistic supply that I gave her by giving her attention. But she was renegotiating that, and was becoming quite apparent that any sort of intimacy or even any sort of prospect of a real relationship was not going to happen. I could meet her needs, but she could not meet mine. And that was kind of my rock bottom moment again. I saw again I was in another relationship, with another emotionally unavailable woman, who again I saw in her the mirror of my mother, another woman in my life that was emotionally unavailable. Again, I was trying to love somebody that just couldn't love me back. I was crushed again. But, this time, as in the last time, I wanted this to be the last time. I wanted to get help. I wanted to transcend whatever was going on. I wanted to transcend my programming from fear to love. And that's how you attract better relationships into your life. It's by working on yourself, by working on myself and healing myself. That's how I was going to do it. So luckily we have the internet, man. The internet is going to save the world. The freedom of information that exists, speed is really kind of the game changer now. We're allowed to share information, share thoughts, share ideas instantly with everybody potentially around the world. Think of a viral video right now that goes around, of like a cat playing a piano, something like that. Soon there's going to be viral videos of love, and it's really going to change the world. So because of the internet, I discovered that I was definitely codependent and had many narcissistic traits. The internet allowed me to buy books that explained, what this was, what this label is. I spent hours listening to YouTube and started a 12-step recovery program, Codependence Anonymous. All thanks to the internet, man. And what I learned is that this was me, but it didn't have to be. I didn't have to be a victim of my life for much longer. Some learned behavior characteristics of being a victim are, believing that I've been wronged, believing that I have no control over life, believing in the worst possible outcome, rampant negative emotions. I was always expecting sympathy from other. Oftentimes I would play the victim card or the blame game. Most of the time I was stuck in self-pitying mode. Many times I was defensive. Many times I'd spin tales of woe, whatever that means. What it really means is I had a poor me attitude. Poor me. I was a victim. I couldn't do anything about my life. I constantly put myself down. I was passive aggressive. I would set myself up for failure. And until recently, I would refuse to analyze and improve myself. Those are learned characteristics of being a behavior. And so I learned characteristic behaviors of being a victim. And because they're learned, they can be unlearned. Amazing. How do you become a victim in your life? Childhood trauma, obviously. Fuck. Everything happens, childhood trauma. If you think you might be a victim, look at your parents. Do they have any sort of these traits? Do they have any narcissistic or codependent traits? Look at your grandparents. Were they alcoholics? If so, if maybe you identify with any of these things like I did, check out YouTube, homie, shorty. There's so much good information, so many great resources about people talking openly about themselves and no longer hiding from their shame, which is how you heal, which is why I do this. It's not for anybody else. If you find this, great. I'm so happy if you did, but this is really for me and my healing and my journey. What I've come to realize is that my addictions, especially to relationships and cannabis, are things I do to feel in control because I felt like a victim my entire life. In codependent relationships, I feel in control by trying to make people happy. I try to control their moods. If they're happy, then I'm happy. But the problem is that if they're unhappy, then I'm unhappy. And if I have to continually rely on others for my sense of happiness and well-being, for my sense of esteem, man, I'm in deep shit. honestly. Using cannabis, smoking weed, I feel happy. I feel like I'm in control. But I usually only feel this way as long as the drug lasts. Now that I understand this, I was smoking all day, or, not all day, a lot. I was doing this to maintain this level of happiness so I didn't feel like a victim of my own life. But the issue is, your tolerance builds up and you have to smoke more and more, until finally you have to reset the tolerance. And I used to do this with like crazy anxiety, like resetting, take a weed vacation. In the past when this happened, I had to have like a safe space. Maybe I wouldn't leave my house, wouldn't want to be bothered. If I did go out, I wouldn't want to communicate with anybody. Thank you, Apple iPhone and EarPods. Or I guess Android. I don't have an iPhone. But this isn't living at all, man. If you have so much anxiety about stopping something, fuck, man, you're addicted. Honestly, that's what addiction is. That is being out of control of your whole life. Cannabis gave me the illusion of control. Again, I was using something else to determine my level of happiness, which, like I said, with my addiction to relationships, if you're relying on that shit, on something else to determine your happiness, you're in deep shit. Fucking dunzo, homie. You need to change. I need to change. So, what is doing the work for me so that I don't have to rely on, beautiful women or drugs for my happiness? It's really learning to let the motherfucking go. Let it go. It's learning that I am enough, just who I am, just as I am enough. It's learning that I choose happiness in each moment. It's focusing on the present moment and not having obsessive thinking about the past or the future. It's observing my thoughts, moment to moment. It's a real mindfulness practice. That's a real thing. For me, it's learning every day. These are just some things that I consider part of my daily practice of healing. Because the good news is that, really healing is possible. And making these new, free will choices, I don't have to be a victim of my life. I can change. I can be the hero of my own life. Joe Rogan talked about this, and when he talked about it, I was like, yeah, I could do that. But it was a concept. I was not living it. Now I am, because I choose to. I have an intent to be the hero of my own life, my own story. I kind of think of myself more of an anti-hero right now, kind of like Han Solo, but I think that's pretty good, considering like not so long ago, man, I was in a dark place. I was really struggling with a lot of shit, like really struggling. So, like I was saying, the good news is that you can heal, and that what was in the past is in the past, and each day is new. Each day you're literally born again. You can change. You can do whatever you want. I listen to these, Abraham Hicks self-guided meditations. They're like this 10-minute meditation in the morning, just to remind myself that today is a good day, and that because my intent is to have a good day, and I've got a practice that will allow this. It's just not going to happen on its own right now. I've got to like retrain myself. It's because I'm doing all these things. I know I'm changing. I know I'm shifting. I know I can transcend this this learned behavior and become something more than myself. That's how the law of attraction is. That's what alchemy is. That's what I'm doing. Freedom is possible. What that's going to look like, man, I have no idea. This journey is going to detail in great detail. This journey is going to be online for everyone to see. Because where I'm going, it's all the way, homies, all the way to my higher self, to living that blissful, peaceful existence where I have no problems. That's possible. It's possible for everybody. And because I have awareness about it, that's what I'm going for. So, again, thank you for letting me be of service in sharing myself with whoever decides to listen. I just want to let you know that I understand where you are. I've been there. I understand your pain. So I'm sending you love and light. And yeah, man, thanks a lot.